Okay. Good afternoon, super friends, and welcome back. It is Friday afternoon, and I think I'm just resigning myself to being on camera because y'all watch when I'm on camera. So, first of all, thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. Thank yourself for showing up to hang out with me today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dana. I am a healer, medium, mama, soccer mom, all around normal person and weirdo. One of the terms a friend used to describe me was vanilla mom witch, and that tracks in some ways, and in other ways, not. I'll leave that to your imagination. I'm here today with a channeled message that started in meditation just a little bit ago. I got into meditation for our sweet little group that's growing. And I'm just going to close my eyes and start talking. The first thing that I saw was a, a cathedral, a traditional, what felt like Catholic cathedral. It actually felt like St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City. So big, beautiful Gothic style cathedral. And I just was invited to go in and sit down. And as I did, as I went in and sat down, the timeline brought me to. It was as if I was going into the cathedral in present time and space and sitting down. And as I sat down, I was brought into a moment in my own timeline, probably about 20 years ago, maybe 18 years ago, somewhere there, where I had taken a trip to New York from California with my gentleman friend at the time, and his family was from New York, New Jersey as well. It was Christmas time, and his family wanted to go into St. Patrick's Cathedral. And so we went in and sat down, and the next thing I knew, we were staying for Mass, which might come as a surprise to you that I had this happen to me, given what I do for a living now or what I'm doing now. But in that moment in time, I very nearly had a panic attack. All of my religious trauma rose to the surface. I it was all I could do to stay in the pew and participate. And I remember my boyfriend who may he rest in peace. He's no longer with us. He's in the stars, as I would tell my children. He was not the nicest man, and he was not the nicest man to me. And what made it a little bit worse is that he thought he was quite the enlightened being, and he was a psychotherapist. And rather than allowing me to be where I was in that state, and sort of grabbed his hand and I was like, I don't know if I can do this. He he instantly sort of launched into me as like, what's wrong with you? You're so selfish. Like he like made me shrink in my pew. And so I'm not sure if that story is relevant to where we're going to go today, but it's here, so here it is. I was there in the pew. Mass was happening, and I was basically like trying not to have a panic attack. I was trying to regulate my breathing, and as soon as mass was over, I basically like ran out the door and was like in December in New York City on the front steps of St. Patrick's Cathedral. So what was that, and why was I here? Um, I stayed with it. I stayed with the imagery. I stayed with the feeling of panic attack in my body, and I asked, what is here in this story for our collective? And what came through was not shitty old boyfriends. What came through was religious trauma. And the feeling that I have, actually, it isn't even religious trauma now that I'm feeling it now. What it feels like is I have a collection of you who come from a background of one particular faith belief. So whether it's Catholicism or Lutheranism or Presbyterianism, say that three times fast. Um, Judaism, whatever the faith structure that you grew up in, um, several of the energies that I'm feeling right now are people who did what I did, which was to push it all away because it was so toxic in my childhood. Um, Many of you have done that as well. You've rejected your faith or your family's faith. You've rejected, in many ways, God, or the idea of divinity or something bigger, or you don't know. It's that agnostic atheist line. And there are others of you in here who still, whether you go to church or whether you are practicing in some way, you still have that structure. You still have the rules. You still have the wounding and tradition all kind of tied up and wrapped up and knotted up, really. It's like the image is like seaweed and old boots and fishing line and wire and aluminum cans and like dead fish. Like that's what the image that I'm seeing is now. It's kind of all wrapped up really in your root system, but it's insidious. It goes all the way up and through and just comes into all of your energy centers. And what wants to happen is they want to be sort of untangled energetically and laid out before you so that you can be in greater choice than the way your body feels, the way your being feels, the way your heart feels when you think about God, divine, religion, um, all of the things that I'm talking about, including the more modern nuances that I bring in here, which is that of Christ and Mary Magdalene, of the tree of life, of chakras all being the same thing, all representing, all giving particular language to or vernacular to the same thing, which is our energetic system. So whether you believe in whether you have a Catholic Christian background and you know about sacraments and you believe your energy centers are baptism, communion, confirmation, marriage, ordination, we go up. Or if it's the tree of life and it's Malchut and Yesod and Hod and Netzach and Teferet and Gevurah and Hesed, sorry, Gevurah, Hesed and Gevurah. I always get the right and left flipped, especially when my eyes are closed. Da'at, if you go up with the Judaic tree of life, it's there, or it's the root, it's the sacral, it's the solar plexus, it's the heart, it's the throat, it's the third eye, it's the crown. It's all the same. It's all energy. And if you're listening to me, if you're listening to some of these messages and trying to discern where you fit in, I think that is where this message is meant to go, which is to this place of understanding your roots and laying them out energetically before you for examination so that you can choose to either dispose of the storylines and the beliefs that you don't need, or you can make peace with them, or you can begin adding new threads of energy and new threads of belief as you heal the parts that have really pulled on you and kept you from your highest unfolding, have kept you from your connectivity. So going back to the steps of St. Patrick's Cathedral and the gasps of cool, cold air that I was feeling, and then jumping to pretty much what I just shared with you here, the moment that I received the download of that structure, of the belief that I hold, which is it is all energy, and that it doesn't matter what form you insert or you overlay on it, whether it's Judaism or Christianity or chakras, or it doesn't matter which language you choose. It's the same. And I received that information as a download, which is the way it's the way that I started doing what I'm doing. It's the way my soul's work emerged. I did not grow up studying religious texts. I grew up, uh, well, someday I'll tell you my whole story, and I don't have time to do it today, but I was supposed to be raised Jewish in the Jewish faith. I was baptized into the Catholic Church when I was 5. And I spent most of my childhood, in this, like, telling a funny story of, oh, I'm a Catholic Jew, but really it created great drama in my family and great trauma inside of me, because my two favorite people on the planet were my father and my grandmother, and they were Jewish. And the nuns were telling me that my two favorite people on the planet were going to hell. And I had to figure out how to make peace with all of that. And so, as an adult, when I started meditating, when I finally got quiet, I started receiving downloads. So the energy systems was one of them. The tree of life was another one. And then I was telling my teacher, my mentor, that I had a visitation from Mary Magdalene. She literally came in over my left shoulder, and I didn't know who she was. And I had to look up who is the woman with the egg, because I knew she was important. I knew she, and her message was that she had something for me. She was coming to bring me my soul's work. And I had to go and then look all of these things up. So fortunately, many scholars and many priestesses and pastors and rabbis and wise humans have come before me, and we live in the miracle and the magic of technology. So I got to just start Googling and then studying and finding teachers. And that is how I got from a panic attack on the steps of St. Patrick's Cathedral to talking to all of you today. Where do you fit in to this story? Well, first of all, this is my soul's work. And that's the very short version of my origin story. But the threads of energy that I was picking up on were those of you who are coming with the religious trauma, those of you who are coming with the how does what you're doing fit in with what I already know, because I already have a strong faith. And what are we being invited to do, which was my next question in meditation. Okay, so what am I meant to share beyond my own personal story here? What's here today? Um, I also want to say that I had the very distinct feeling that a member of my family is tuning into the YouTubes, and I don't know who that is. But I want to say thank you and you're welcome to be here. And I also know that it feels a little funny in me, because I am somewhat estranged from most of my family, which is another story. But what is here for us today? What is here for you today? How do you know if this thread is for you? Well, you probably already know, because there's probably already something that you have hooked into and are recognizing in yourself. And if you don't, if there's nothing here for you, I will say this every time I talk to you: take what resonates, leave the rest behind. If this is not your message, come back next week or in a few weeks, next Friday. There may be a message for you here. If this is not yours, just leave it. Don't fit yourself in. But the feeling is, again, laying out your beliefs in front of you and then being in choice about what is actually for you. And by in choice, I don't mean up here. Like, I am choosing to believe, and we're disembodied. We cut ourselves off at the neck. I am choosing to believe this because this is what I have believed all of my life, or I am choosing to reject this because that's what my parents believed and my parents are fucked up, or this is my faith and I resonate with what you're saying, Dana, but my faith says that I'm not allowed to. We are being invited into letting go, releasing to the best of your ability your traditions, your belief systems, letting them all go, letting that bundle of seaweed and crap just drop out of your system. If you want to go sorting, you can sort, and I will help us energetically sort. But I'm not sure that I'm going to have time to do energy work on this call today. Let it go, let it sort itself out. And then the image, so there are more tarot images that came through with this message as well. The first was the Hierophant, which is can mean all sorts of things, but in this particular iteration, the feeling was that, like, the formality, the old school, the traditional, the cardinal with his rules, the masculine, the patriarchal church, or the patriarchal belief systems. There's an invitation to recognize that that is part of you, but it's in the past position, meaning like it's where we have come from. And then the next image that came was the Eight of Cups, which is the woman walking away. The images that are coming this time, I believe last time it was the Rider Waite, this time it's the Light Seer. So the Eight of Cups on the Light Seer's deck is a woman. We see her back, we see the cups, and she's walking away from them. She's leaving them behind. So leaving behind those storylines that are not for you, that have become a part of the marrow of your bones simply because they're a part of your ancestral lineage. We've been talking about that as well. They're a part of your bones, they're a part of your structure. Leaving that behind and then going toward the Queen of Cups, which is your intuition, your most intuitive, heart-centered, heart-connected self. So we're being invited to leave behind the traditions, leave behind the storylines, leave behind the panic attack, leave it in the cathedral, step out into the cold air, and to walk away from the belief systems that aren't serving you. Now, something else that I'm hearing as I'm talking, something else that I'm hearing is, and this came up, I think this came up in the Earth and Ether Collective, which is one of my groups that I teach. It came up on Wednesday, and it's back here now. The feeling is that one of the reasons we are where we are in society, one of the reasons we are where we are on planet Earth, is because somewhere, and in that message, in that channeled message, it was like 200 years ago, 200 years ago, we started breaking away from religious traditions. 200 years ago, everyone had God some form of God, regardless of their belief system. They had some form of God, some form of something bigger than themselves in their life. Whether it just doesn't matter what religion their God or gods came from. There was a clear knowingness and a clear embodiment of there is something larger than myself, and I am here to be a practitioner of the love that my God, goddess, gods, goddesses embody. And 200 years ago, again, that feels like an arbitrary number, but probably right around the Industrial Revolution, right along that timeline where it was decided by factory owners that it was necessary to dumb down the people, to keep them uneducated, to keep them willing to work on a factory line, on a sewing machine all day. Like that's the vibe, that's the feeling. That's where I think I keep going back to 200 years ago. But it started there, the break from organized religion, and the stepping into the more selfless or selfish form of society that we have now, where we went from living, in greater communities, where we all were in support of one another. Our families lived together. We needed one another. There was this real sense of reliance upon the community. It was there that we started breaking away from the traditions and organized religion. And I have no judgment about that, obviously, but I do have a sense that that is where we as humans lost our connectivity with God and with the divine. And even now, I every time I say God, I get a little like, yeah, you're somebody in here, many somebodies of you are triggered by that word. And it's okay. Like, my work here in the world is to get you to not be triggered by that word, and to understand that what I'm talking about is not the white guy in the sky with the long beard, but the magic inside of you. Heaven and hell reside within us. And I feel like heaven, truly, like our own divinity, resides in here in our hearts, and hell is what we create up here in our minds. And yes, they exist, but we are being invited to recognize that God is in us, that we are divinity, that we are our own magic, and we are beings of love. And that is what we are being invited to reconnect to. And that is what I'm inviting you to reconnect to: your own awareness of your own divinity, your own awareness of your own magic, and to release the traditions, to release the Hierophant, to release the old way, and to come with me into the new, knowing that the new way still gets to be your way. It's not my way. It's your way. It is, what do you feel? How do you feel most connected? How in your body, in your being, do you understand that you are one of many, that you are not separate from anyone else, and that your love matters, you matter, and your exuding and receiving love matters, because when you receive love, we all receive love, and when you exude love, we all receive your love. And that is what I'm here to tune all of you into. That is the ultimate goal of all of these messages that are coming through. They are to open as many people who are willing to listen as I can get, whether here on this channel or here or out in the greater world, to open your eyes, to open your heart, to open your self to your own divinity, your own intuition, your own love. They're all the same thing. Again, intuition, magic, love, God, goddess, divinity, all of it. It's all the same thing. It is all the embodiment of that energy of your highest unfolding, your highest self. And so the arc of today's message is really to step out of the old ways, to recognize them first, to walk away from the beliefs that might be keeping you from God, goddess, in any name, that might be keeping you from your own divinity, your own grandiosity, your own magic, your own healing, to walk away from anything keeping you from that and to draw you in and draw you closer to learning to listen to yourself. Just being quiet for a moment to see if there's anything else that wants to come through. Don't think there is. I'm going to look at the time because I have to, yeah, I'm going to have to pick up my daughter. I really want to do a little bit of energy work here. I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to have to be quick, but but I'll keep it simple. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, soften your gaze, whatever feels good. And let's just start by taking 3 deep breaths together. The first breath, I'm going to invite you to call all of your energy back from any place you might have left it out in the world. The second breath, I'm going to invite you to connect with your own divinity, your own magic, and you can choose what that looks like or feels like for you. What I'm seeing now for the collective energy. So if you don't have a way to do that for yourself, I'm seeing like almost like the ET heart light, like so in that second breath, I'm going to invite you to connect with your heart light. The way I'm seeing it now, though, is not ET had a bright red light and it was kind of heart shaped. This is actually white, like brilliant white light here in your heart center. And on that third breath in, I want you to see if you can connect with gratitude, no matter how great or small. So maybe you're just grateful that you're making it through today, and that's what your gratitude is for. Maybe you're grateful for the cup of coffee that you're drinking while you're listening to this. Whatever it is, there's nothing too big, there's nothing too small. Just see if you can connect with gratitude for just a moment in that heart space. Okay, so 3 deep breaths with me. Nice deep breath in, sinking your breath all the way down into your belly, into your pelvic bowl, just calling all of you back home, all of your energy back in, calling it back into your central channel, calling it back in to your being, and then exhaling and letting it all go, allowing that exhale to be a nice deep release. One more time, inhaling and connecting with your own magic, breathing into your heart center, allowing your heart center to glow if that feels good, or if there's some other way that you choose to connect with your own magic, do it now. And then exhale and let it all go. One last in breath, just finding a moment of gratitude, no matter how big or small, something that you're grateful for. Inhaling and just bringing that feeling of gratitude all the way into your heart center. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for this day. Thank you for this coffee. Thank you for this time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then exhaling and letting it all go. Because I don't have nearly as much time as I would like, I'm going to do this a little bit quickly, so I apologize, but bear with me. I'm going to invite you to see with me if that feels good. Otherwise, to just allow yourself to receive, allow yourself to open and soften and follow my voice. I'll try and give you a storyline to follow as I work. But know that your only job right now is to just open, soften, relax, and ready yourself to receive. So I'm just coming forward into the energy of our collective, which is what I do each time I meditate on this group. It's ever changing and always growing, and it's beautiful and sweet. And the feeling is, and it's kind of gross, but the feeling is that I'm like literally plunging my hand into like kind of stinky, fishy, nasty water, seawater, and pulling out this ball of seaweed and shit. And I'm taking it out and I'm just kind of plopping it down so that I can look at it. And I think the way, like, part of me feels like, and I'm a knitter, and so I'm seeing this image as well of like that tangled mess of yarn that sometimes happens. And like you just know it's going to be hours and hours and hours to free and untie this giant knot, or the other image that's coming for some of you who have longer hair and it gets tied in knots and you need to brush and brush and brush. That's a little bit like what I'm seeing here. And it could take me hours to unfurl all of these lines for you, but what I'm being shown to do is to just bring that light, bring the light from our hearts. And knowing that the light from our hearts, so I want you to imagine that the light from your heart is actually connected and coming down and pouring down from above. And it's filling our heart center and it's moving from our heart center and it's just being replenished at all times. And so I'm not using any of my own energy to bring into the collective. I'm using this divine light. I'm not using Dana to do this. And so I'm just bringing the light over this ball of crap, of seaweed, fishing line, aluminum cans, dead fish, feathers, muck, trash. It's like kind of making me gag. I don't know if you can see me or hear me. It's gross. But I'm bringing this light in and over. And the feeling is, rather than unfurling all of these pathways to let you choose, which I could do, and it could take a long time, this light is actually drawing the muck aside. It's like moving everything apart. And what I'm seeing in the center of this ball of muck is a ruby. It's a ruby. And I don't know offhand the significance of rubies. I would have to look it up. But it's this giant ruby. It's funny, as I'm moving the energy, as the light is shining down, I'm like feeling the energy wanting to move from me. I almost want to like belch. And so if you're feeling that too, know that that's kind of part of it. I'm working on the energy of the collective, but I'm feeling through my body and like things are moving. So there might be like belching that wants to happen for you. And just know that it's okay. There's this beautiful ruby, and this beautiful ruby Feels also a little bit like that ET heart. And everything has come away from it. It's shining. There's this beautiful white light shining down on it. And this feels like the gem. This feels like the the truth. This feels like your personal truth. Now, this is the truth of the collective, but your truth resides in this ruby, your truth of your own magic, your truth of your own intuition, your truth of your own connectivity is here. It's in this ruby. And what I'm being shown to do, and so I'm going to go ahead and do it, is bring that ruby into the heart of our collective. And the feeling is that it's going to just be embedded in this beautiful white light in our collective heart center. And it's going to be able to radiate all the way through your central channel. So, all the way through the central channel of our collective. So, this beautiful white light, but also with this red ruby glow, is now moving through. It's moving up and out and down and through. And it, again, I wish my book of symbols is downstairs on my coffee table. I wish I could look it up at the moment, but I also don't want to lose the moment. So I'm going to look it up, and I'll put it below when I post the video. I'll post the meaning of the ruby as well. But the feeling is that this gem here in your heart center, along with the white light, is going to be so helpful to clear the old stories, to clear the old woundings, and to connect you with that Queen of Cups, with the intuitiveness, the intuition, the love, the flow, and the fullness of her heart, the truth in her heart, so that you can know the truth in yours. I'm just going to listen for a moment to see if there's anything else that needs to happen here. I'm just being told to share with you, in case you're wondering what happened with the seaweed and the trash. I sort of have a running fire pit that I toss things into. So I've used the element of fire to tend to the trash, to transmute it, to send up in smoke anything that isn't of or for the collective. So we just can't push the trash aside. We actually have to do something with it. So I think that's why I'm being told to tell you what I did with it energetically. Okay. I'm going to invite you to take a nice deep breath in again, breathing in, sinking your breath down, holding it for a moment. And as you exhale, I want you to begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. And one more time, inhaling, coming all the way back, coming all the way back, coming all the way back into present time and present space, maybe squeezing your body, squeezing your shoulders, rolling your neck, that exhale. And one last breath, maybe reaching up, stretching, wiggling fingers and toes again, and exhaling and just fluttering your eyes open. Hi again. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for going on this journey. If you care to, please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. I know it's always an awkward conversation. Hey, there's this weird lady who says things on YouTube. You should follow her. But if you're brave, I would love it if you would share. I wish you a beautiful weekend, and I will see you here on Monday. Love, love, love.